name is Abow. I'm Ethiopian. I'm 33 years old. I grew up in a Christian family. My parents are deeply religious, but looking back, I never felt like going to church it wasn't faith. It was something. It was like going to school, but except it was on a Sunday. That's all it was to me. And nobody likes going to school at that age. Looking back, not that I'm blaming anyone, but the God that I was first introduced to or that I can remember, was like the Old Testament God. You obey His rules, you do this, like a God sitting up there looking down at me, looking like counting my mistakes and going, he's going to hell. Or, good boy, you're going to heaven. So I didn't really like it. I couldn't relate to it. So as I got older, I was looking for alternatives. I started thinking for myself. So I grew very rebellious. I met different kinds of people through football. Then as soon as I turned 13, 14, I got introduced to drinking, and I loved it. To tell you the truth, I'm not so sure it was the drinking. It was more the rebellious aspect of it. We do what we want. We started smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, and rap music. It's like we couldn't do anything with that rap music. And it didn't seem like it at the time, but looking back, it was probably the most destructive influence of my life. Rap music was, because it was where I first started to hear the concept of being a man, being strong, not backing down, doing whatever you want. So everything was a challenge to me. After graduating high school in Addis Ababa, I got a scholarship to go to the States. When I went to America, I had this grand plan, becoming a football star. I was really good everywhere I played. And I remember first session, it was an indoor game. And I killed it. Even my coach, he loved me. And then we went out the next day, played on the big field. 5-10 minutes, I was done. I never trained a day in my life. All the other kids, they weren't as good as me, but they were so fit. It was so hard to keep up with them. So for the first time in my life, I'm like, I have to train and I have to quit drinking and smoking. I thought I could do it, but I found it was much harder than I thought. I tried to quit, I could not quit. It just kept going. I kept trying and trying and trying. I couldn't. The first time I really prayed for real and started going to church was when I finally accepted that I wasn't going to be a football player. I was really depressed. It was really hard to accept. I was really empty. I felt empty inside, and I was even on medication for depression. Nothing could feel like, there was just this emptiness inside me. So I started going to church. So I wake up every Sunday by myself, I go there, and it was an old people's church. I was the only young person in there. But anyway, every time I go to church, I felt much better. I stopped taking my medication. I started eating healthy. I started working out. But this time, it wasn't about going to church like it was when I was younger. It was more like me, directly praying to God and just praying, begging for His help. It was really hard for me. So I knew the only option I had was to turn to God. That was the only way I survived that period. Sometimes I think you need to hit rock bottom before you can find God. If you could save yourself, I guess, why would we need God, huh? Through my relationship with Christ and understanding what He's done for me, I understood that, life is more about giving. So I wanted to be a football player. I couldn't achieve that. What I want to do in the future is open up a talent development kind of academy, school, call it what you want. So young kids, they can come in, follow their passion, and they probably won't feel that emptiness, and they won't go seeking it elsewhere.